The paradigm of that continual growth and that incredible resource use is over. And we're in a time where we haven't yet figured out the next paradigm. And I think about that sense of loss that folks like you and I suffer when we don't know what this world is about. And when we don't know what the future holds. And I think that's very challenging. It's challenging for me, certainly. And then I think about the tools, the incredible tools that you folks work with. I'm a little bit like Carol. There's some staff people here from our shop who will tell you that I'm not quite a Luddite. But I do say, you know, when I made the comment publicly the other year, last year, that I did know how to use the Google machine, I did understand that that was supposed to become evil. So I do know something about it. You know, in this time between paradigms, which is what I kind of want to focus on there for a second, the tools can become an opiate. You know, Karl Marx said that religion was an opiate of the masses, distracting them from the real issues. And I don't believe that the tools you work with, those of you who are really wired, are an opiate. But I understand how they could become an opiate. That without a true cultural momentum toward a goal, where there's a paradigm that we all understand, and until we move to the next one, we're in this in-between. And I can understand why some might find the tools themselves so fascinating, and so engrossing, and so all-encompassing that nothing else really matters. I think there are things that matter, even in this time in between. I think we have intense desire on people's parts to have a locality, a home, a place they can call their own, where there is some intensity and meaning in the word community, where global communities meet certain needs and local communities meet other needs, where this thing that we are starting to discover, where there is reverence for the earth, reverence for resources, reverence for each other's role in keeping this earth a place we want to live, where that is intensely desired, not only by people your age and my age, but my mother, who's 90 years old, is also coming back to that place. So we need a way to tie together people who are going to create that next paradigm. And some of it exists in the nonprofit world, and some of it exists elsewhere. But we are about trying to promote that in our work. And I challenge you to think about that. Carol and Irvin have also said kind of the same thing. That we need tools that help us get to the next paradigm and then really take off. Because when we figure out where we're going next, we're going to need real tools that change our lives very directly. There's an incredible range of ways to build, support, and enrich communities of people. And I hope you are part of it. I want to be part of it for a lot of years yet. And as I close, I want to tell the end of that story. We had the good fortune to move on in our careers and so on, and by 1992, 9 years later, we were living in Ottawa. And one Sunday evening, we got a phone call. We didn't expect this phone call, but it was one of the other 9 families were meeting. And here's essentially what they said on the phone call. Well, we're just about done with the last mortgage. We have about 3 months to go. And ours, happens to be the last mortgage, as you know. And we're going to finish it off in the next 3 months. But we have a problem. And the problem is that the money coming back in is bigger than the money that has gone out. And we're going to have about $50,000 left. So we want to ask you and Susan if we came up with the idea that we should give this $50,000 away. And of course we said yes. And I just want to put some numbers around that. In today's world, we paid off $750,000 of mortgages over 9 7 families, and we gave $50,000 to charity. I don't brag about that. It's not a big thing, you know, in the big scope of the world. 750,000, it's a lot of money. But you know what? It isn't about the size, it's about the freedom to choose. The freedom to choose in a community then, and the freedom of not having to pay a mortgage from 1992 onward. It gives my wife and I security and the right to choose. We all have our own paths, and that just happened to be ours, and we stumbled into it by asking for help, if you will, and a group of families who came together and said, we're your community, and we're here. Thank you very much.